Hi, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. We are on Facebook Live right now. NJRR, New Jersey Revolution Radio, coming at you. We have, of course, my dear friend Pat Noble with us tonight. We're going to jump into his segment about our statewide politics. But first, I do want to take a minute on a couple of things. One, thank you to those of you that have donated over the last couple of weeks. We got a couple of new donations. We're sustainable. We're paying our bills all the time, which means the website's being hosted, and we have these Zoom rooms that we can get on, and we can maybe plug some things with Facebook ads every now and again. We're going to start to get some literature printed so we can promote New Jersey Revolution Radio. So these are the kinds of things that your donations go to help. So I appreciate those donations that we've gotten. And if you haven't donated yet and you've been meaning to, all you got to do is go to the website, make a contribution, and send us a few dollars. If you can make a sustainable donation, that helps us budget, and that's really cool. As little as $5 a month makes a big difference. I also want to mention that on Wednesday night, we're going to be supporting Randy Alston. For those of you that have not heard the podcasts about what Randy's been through, in short, down in Ventnor, she had a young child in school that was told some slaves wanted to be slaves, and other extremely offensive things about slavery in this country. When she confronted the school officials, now on a number of occasions, they are not acknowledging that this behavior was wrong or immoral or anything. And initially, all she was looking for was an apology, and she can't even get that, seemingly, from these school board officials in Ventnor. So we're asking anybody in the area of Ventnor on Wednesday night from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Ventnor Education Complex, 400 North Lafayette Avenue. NJRR is going to be there. Supporters of Randy is going to be there. And we appreciate you guys turning out to show this woman that we admire her courage and we support her fight against white supremacy. Thank you, Pat, for hanging in there while I plug my other things. But now it is, of course, time to ask you the big question of the day. What the fuck is going on in Trenton?
Well, we are heading towards what we're calling the countdown to the shutdown.
Yes.
We are less than 6 days away, barring any changes from the state government shutting down for the second consecutive year. This year, of course, we have Democrat Phil Murphy as opposed to last year when we had Chris Christie. Since the last time we had this segment, I believe it was Thursday, the Democrats in the legislature, led by Steve Sweeney, passed their own version of the budget, which had none of Phil Murphy's priorities or taxes in there. Did not have the increase in the sales tax back to 7%. Did not have the increase in the income tax for the top bracket to bring that up, what's being popularly called the millionaire's tax.
Right.
Did have the corporate tax increase that Steve Sweeney's been pushing as an alternative. Of course, in their budget, that tax only goes up for 2 years, after which time it will revert back to the old rate. So they passed the budget in defiance of Phil Murphy, who said he was going to veto the entire thing. Since then, Governor Murphy's been holding his cards very close to the chest. Last week, he was talking about a full veto. This week, he's talking about a line item veto. Specifically, he said he will go in and veto $855 million worth of spending priorities in the budget. He has not been clear on what that means exactly, but that's a oddly specific number, so that's probably a threat against all of the legislature's priorities in this budget. So that's sort of where we're at. It's sort of in the final week standoff of whether Murphy keeps a poker face on, whether he vetoes the entire thing and risks a veto override, which the Democrats in the legislature probably have the votes to override it. He can bring in the line item veto. So really the ball's in his court to see what happens.
Well, he can't line item in stuff. So if they don't have a millionaire's tax on this,
right, he can't put it in.
There's nothing he can do. So, I mean, whatever he's doing is probably a bit of theatrics.
Yeah, it's almost a threat of retribution of I couldn't get anything I wanted, so I'm going to go in and take away everything you wanted.
Right. And the argument from the Sweeney camp is that you're still taxing millionaires, but you're doing it through this corporate thing.
Right.
Rather than a millionaire's tax. And I've said, you know, do both. I don't care.
That's
do
what
both.
we said last time.
You know,
you know, it's interesting. They're both using pretty much the exact same argument on why they want their version instead of the other. So in Murphy's case, he's saying, you know, we can't tax corporations because it's going to drive them out of the state. And in Sweeney's case, he's saying, we can't tax millionaires because they're going to move out of the state.
Bye. Yeah, see you later. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Yeah.
You know.
But again, it goes back to what we've been saying in every single podcast we've done on this. They're all fucking Democrats. It's not Republican Chris Christie against the Democrat legislature blaming the other party. They're all Democrats, and they're fighting worse than Christie and them ever did.
And they're standing up for millionaires just the same.
Yeah.
They're standing up for the bourgeoisie just the same.
Yeah.
Everybody, Republicans, they're fascists. They're only for people with lots of money. You know, it's this Democratic legislature that passed the yacht tax break last year. Okay, so I didn't forget about the yacht tax break. Okay, a tax for those of you that don't know what I'm saying. For those of you that don't know what the fuck is going on in Trenton, this is what the fuck is going on in Trenton right now. And what happened last year was they passed a break on a tax for luxury yachts, as true heroes of the working class that they are. How's your luxury yacht? I know it drove me getting that break, really. How's your luxury yacht, Pat?
Well, I'm sure our Goldman Sachs governor enjoyed that tax break a lot.
I don't know if he has a yacht.
But
maybe with the tax break, maybe he got one.
Yeah.
Maybe.
but on Friday they had dueling press conferences in Trenton when they had their meetings and wasn't happening. And we have this beautiful quote from Steve Sweeney. Quote, "This is my 9th budget. I have never seen an administration with a lack of focus and a lack of honesty the way they have handled this."
Yeah.
So this, this fucker dealt with Christie for 8 consecutive years. Now he has one of his own in the governor's seat, and this guy has shown a lack of honesty more than 8 years of Chris Christie. I mean, I'm obviously not a supporter of Murphy in any way, shape, or form, but really, is someone supposed to believe that?
For any politician out of this cesspool of humanity we have going on there in Trenton, to claim another one is dishonest, is humorous to say the least. I mean, Steve should really talk, right? How many times was Steve going to put shit on the ballot? I mean,
no, we had that $15 minimum wage that we passed last year.
Sure, I'm going to do, but more the requirement to pay the pension fund. We're going to put it on the ballot. Nah. Yeah. I mean, come on. He sat in front of NGAA and said, "I promised you, I'm going to put it on the ballot. I swear to God." I mean, Steve, come on, stop it. He's a liar. He's dishonest. You're all dishonest. Yeah. That's what you do for a living.
Yeah, but hey, he's a union guy. He's the top labor Democrat in Trenton.
We are how many days away from the shutdown now at this point?
We are less than 6 days away. New budget has to be in before July 1st. So if nothing happens on Sunday, it is game over. There was a bill. I think we talked about it last time or the time before. There was a bill to keep the parks and beaches open. That bill has not gone through the legislature and just sort of sitting there.
Oh yeah.
So they did not move on that.
Right.
So if we hit July 1st, we are very potentially going into the second consecutive 4th of July weekend. Beaches closed, parks closed. All the businesses in New Jersey that rely on that weekend, all the working class people that like to, go down to the shore for that weekend. No.
Unbelievable. Well, we do have to, of course, thank Heather here because, we mentioned it on the last podcast. and just how awesome she is.
Mm-hmm.
We, of course, now have the graphic that we asked for. And
Yes.
if you can see my screen now, can you see
Yes.
my screen there? Oh, we got to get this thing out of there.
There you go.
It is the countdown
Down
to the shutdown.
shutdown.
I need echo, man. We
Yeah.
really need donations.
You need sound effects. You need to invest in some sound effects.
I like laser beams. I
Yes.
like the laser beam sound effects. That's great. But look for this graphic coming at you on social media. The countdown to the shutdown. Thanks a lot, Heather, and of course, Wine, Women, and Revolution for providing that. We'll be putting it out there. Other news out of Trenton is that I am going to have to start purchasing plastic bags now, which means the bags that I've been using for my bathroom trash are now not going to be free anymore. They're going to cost me 5 cents.
5 cents. Legislature passed and Bill Murphy signed a new bill.
Yes.
So all single-use plastic and paper bags are going to come with a 5-cent fee.
And paper.
And the idea is anything that's single-use.
What's the problem with paper? I guess cutting down trees and shit.
Well, they want to make more tax revenue. They'll tax anything and everything.
So
Yeah.
so it's kind of about the environment, but not really.
No, it's about the environment insofar as how many votes they can get. After that, it's about the tax revenue that you can get from it. So they're estimating they'll bring in $23 million a year in tax revenue. I'm sure over time that'll decrease itself as people get tired of paying that tax and they move on to usable bags. Which that part is good. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But the original idea, the original intent was they were going to take this $23 million or so they were expecting to get and put it towards lead testing and remediation in schools for lead-based paint.
That sounds...
pipes,
and we have
like
problems with that. Camden, New Brunswick.
Newark.
So many of our cities need that. That is great use of that money. I'm proud of our state for doing that.
Well, don't speak too soon because instead of that, they took the $23 million, which is really a drop in the bucket for how large the budget is. But they took that $23 million and they just diverted it back into general funds.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they're not going to look for lead.
No. So that money is going towards nothing that has any effect on you. That's going towards plugging budget holes.
It's reminiscent of a carbon tax, right? Where we're just kind of charging money instead of saying you can't do horrible things to our environment and pollute and kill and destroy our Earth.
Yeah.
We're saying you have to pay money to do that.
And here's sort of the best part to show you how little they care about the environment in this bill.
Right.
Part of the bill is that usually there's the standard set by the state, and then if a county or a municipality wants to go over that standard, they're allowed to through a local ordinance or county ordinance. This bill has a ban on that. So if you had a let's just say Rahway. Let's say Rahway has a very environmentally conscious city council, and Rahway wants to pass an ordinance banning plastic bags altogether. Nope, can't do that.
Because you'd be missing out on the revenue.
Because the state would not get the tax revenue, and the state must be paid.
So not only is this not a plastic bag ban, it's actually a ban on plastic bag bans.
Yes. It's very environmentally conscious. We're not banning plastic bags. We're just making you pay money for them.
Did Sweeney sponsor this bill? Can we talk to him about the honesty thing?
No.
Is he? Who are the sponsors of the bill?
I do not have it in front of me, but it had very clear majorities in both houses.
Well, yeah, because it sounds good, and probably most of these people don't even read the goddamn things.
Yeah.
They just hear plastic bags bad and revenue, and then they just say okay, and they don't look into it,
But this goes back to, especially with Murphy, taking on these seemingly progressive causes,
right?
And it's all bullshit. He's only in it to get the tax revenue. He may personally care about the environment, but they don't give a flying fuck about plastic bags. They want the tax revenue in the
dollar bills, y'all. They don't give a damn.
In the same way, they don't give a flying fuck about legal recreational marijuana being legalized, or if he wants the 25% excise tax.
Money. It's all about money. What do you expect for a guy from Goldman Sachs? Of course, it's gonna be about profit.
Yep.
You know, he collected the underpants, and now we're on to profit.
Yeah.
You know, you commented. I don't know. Are we okay? So I wanted to move on. We got one more thing I wanted to talk about today. I sent you an article about a measles outbreak, and now you commented a while ago. We were on another subject about religion or something, and people claiming religion so they don't have to do the things that they want to do. And we brought up vaccines, which you and I agree on, and has been a little bit of a plague on the left because you know, but there's anti-vax varieties too. I don't think that this is something that goes on just on the left, but particularly with the Green Party and stuff, we got a reputation. It hurts us, and it's not right because it's kind of dumb. My saying has always been, listen, if you have children, take them to the doctor and talk to the doctor and say, doctor, you know, I want to vaccinate my kids, should I? And then do what the doctor says to do. Don't listen to Facebook. Don't listen to your mom's yoga teacher because they're not doctors and they're not medical professionals and they're just trying to sell you some crap. And we had a measles outbreak down there in Camden, and I looked and I found an article on the Courier Post. You know, a woman with measles may have exposed others to the infection at sites in Burlington and Camden counties, state health officials warned on Friday. The risk of exposure occurred from June 12th to June 17th at healthcare facilities and a fitness center in Mount Laurel, Moorestown, Evesham, Camden, according to the Department of Health. So, you know, this is just to point out, and in the article it says people that have gotten vaccinated don't really need to worry all that much. So myself and Pat and those of us that have had that conversation with our doctors, we can hang out in South Jersey still and not worry about measles.
Yeah.
An example. Thoughts on that?
Yeah. Is there even anything to say to that? I mean, just get the fucking shot. There's nothing else to say. You don't want measles. You don't want polio. Just get the shots.
Get the shot. And I was actually told by a healthcare friend of mine that to make sure that your shots are updated and that this is a good reminder for even those of us that have been vaccinated to talk to our doctor about when we were last vaccinated because some of these things lose their potency over time and you may need a booster or whatever. So. Yeah,
but that's exactly it. Listen to the doctor. Don't listen to the knuckleheads on Facebook. Don't listen to the goofy memes. You know the crazy websites that some blogger made. Some conspiracy theorist. Listen to the people that have the fucking medical degrees, have the thing up on the wall. $100,000 in debt because they went to medical school. Listen to those people.
It's true.
Don't even listen to us. Don't even listen to us.
You're true. Don't listen to me. If you go to the doctor and says, doctor says you got some condition, don't do it. Don't do it.
Jerseyans, don't listen to us. Listen to the doctor.
There you go. We are here for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, we are.
I really feel sorry for people taking medical advice from me.
Listen to us while you're in the waiting room waiting for the doctor.
There you go.
There you go. That's perfect.
This is good stuff.
And make sure you put your headphones in, though. Kids probably shouldn't hear this.
There's a lot of issues with healthcare in this country, but our vaccination system is not one of them. So, and we have a real case here in our home state, and we got to point it out that, listen, this is serious. People could die. So I thought we'd bring that out here today. Pat, I thank you for joining me tonight. You got anything to plug? Anything going on this week? I know you're going to come back as we do this countdown more, so we don't have to spend a lot of time because I'm sure we will be back shortly.
Yep, like I said, we've got a little under 6 days, so I'm sure we'll be back a couple times before then.
Good. And I'll make sure we post a little reminder to you guys, let you guys know when me and Pat are going to be here.
Yeah, we'll do the midnight countdown on Saturday. We can do all those things.
That beautiful graphic that Heather did that we're so proud of here at NJRR. Yeah. Pat, thanks a lot for joining me. Everybody, check us out on the website. Brian. Make a donation, www.njrevolutionradio.com. Pat, I'll talk to you real soon, man. Good night.
Have a good night.